I'm Liora Cade, 35, a New York interior designer who built homes for others while mine crumbled. 10 years ago, I married Torin Vex, thinking we'd design a life together. Today, at JFK's Gate 19, I stood with my suitcase, watching his private jet roar to life. His arm around Celine Dre, her platinum hair flashing as she blew me a mocking kiss through the window. "Marriage is dead, Liora," he'd said minutes earlier, tossing me a crumpled 20. "Dubai's mine now, stay put." I'd spent 5 on a coffee, leaving me $15, a decade reduced to chump change. The jet taxied, Torin's smirk cutting through the glass. This was our 10th anniversary trip, hotels I'd styled, dinners I'd planned, until he hijacked it with Celine and his cronies, Elton Rice and Vera Quinn, their laughter echoing inside that Gulf Stream. I'd packed sketches, heels, hope. Now I was trash he'd swept aside. Then I saw her, Celine, storming from a side exit, heels stabbing the floor, face twisted. "You're garbage, Torin," she yelled into her phone, his voice snapping back on speaker. "You're off, Celine. Go cry." She ripped a boarding pass from her clutch, tore it, and hurled it toward a trash can, missing. The pieces hit the ground as she stomped away. I darted forward, snatching the scraps. Torin Vex, first class, JFK DXB, Emirates Flight 202. Departure, 20 minutes. His backup ticket, arrogant bastard always had a spare, and Celine's tantrum handed it to me. I bolted to the Emirates desk, slamming the torn pass down. "Not your name," the agent said, peering at me. "My husband's," I shot back, shoving my ID forward. "Liora Cade, he's not using it." "I am." She typed fast, hesitated, then printed a new pass. "Gate 22, move." I ran, weaving through crowds, and boarded with seconds to spare. Seat 1A, first class, champagne waiting. The plane rolled, JFK shrinking below. Torin thought he'd left me with nothing. He didn't know I'd taken his wings. A woman across the aisle, Nix Farouk, blazer crisp, eyes sharp, leaned over. "Nice grab. Who's the jerk?" "My husband," I said, sipping the fizzing drink. Torin Vex ditched me with $15 for his mistress. Nick smirked. "Vex? Property guy? I've got files on him. Shady as hell. You're not just running, are you?" "No," I replied, pulling my phone. I opened our joint Instagram, 50,000 followers, and hit record. "Torin," I said, voice cold. "You left me with $15. Enjoy Dubai. I'm coming." I tagged him, Celine, Elton, Vara, and posted live. Comments flared. "Holy shit. Get him," as we climbed. Nix grinned. "That's a bomb. I'm a reporter. I'll fan the flames when we land." The champagne bit my tongue, sharp and alive. $15 crinkled in my pocket. Torin's last insult. He'd see that video mid-flight, his scotch turning sour. I wasn't stranded. I was soaring, and Dubai was mine to torch. The Emirates, a 380, hummed at 38,000 feet, the champagne flute cold against my palm, as I stared out at the endless black over the Atlantic. $15 sat crumpled in my pocket, Torin's parting gift, and my phone burned with the aftermath of the Instagram video I'd posted an hour ago. "Torin, you left me with $15. Enjoy Dubai. I'm coming." The comments had erupted, 50,000 followers on our joint account, lighting up with "divorce him" and "queen shit." And I knew he'd see it soon. Mid-flight on his private jet, surrounded by Celine Dre and his smug crew, Elton Rice and Vera Quinn. I smirked, imagining his scotch spilling as the notifications hit. Nix Farouk, the reporter in 1B, scrolled her tablet across the aisle, her sharp eyes glinting. "You've got 10K views already," she said, voice low. Tagged his mistress and his lapdogs. "Bold move, Liora. Torin's PR team must be scrambling." "Let them," I replied, sipping the champagne. The bubbles stung, matching the fire in my chest. He laughed in my face at JFK. "I'm done being his backdrop." She nodded, tapping her screen. I've got a file on him. Bounced checks, shady permits. Dubai's his playground, but he's sloppy. You want to hit harder? I leaned closer, the plane's hum fading as her words sank in. Harder how? Expose him, she said, pulling up a grainy photo. Torin shaking hands with a suited man. A half-built tower in the background. This deal, Palm Crescent Towers. He pitched it as his vision, but I've got sources saying the designs were stolen. Sound familiar? My breath caught. 2 years ago, I'd sketched those curves, sweeping lines for a beachfront project, over late-night coffee in our Tribeca loft. Torin had kissed my forehead, said, "Genius, babe," then pitched it to investors without my name. I'd let it slide, too tired to fight. Now it was his crown jewel, and I was the ghost in the blueprints. "That's mine," I said, voice steel. He took it. Nix grinned, predatory. "Then we bury him with it. I'll dig deeper when we land. Names, dates, proof. You've got the stage now. Use it." The flight attendant glided by, offering warm towels, but I waved her off, my mind racing. I flipped open my laptop, still logged into our shared cloud, and scrolled through old files. There it was. Palm Crescent Draft, Liora 2022.pdf. My sketches, timestamps, notes in the margins. I forwarded it to Nix, my fingers trembling with something between rage and triumph. "Checkmate," she muttered, downloading it. "He's toast." I wasn't done. I opened Gmail, our joint account still active, and drafted an email to our lawyer, Seeing Torin. Subject, Divorce Proceedings. Liora Cade versus Torin Vex. Irreconcilable differences, I typed, and theft of intellectual property. I scheduled it for 3 a.m. Dubai time, when his jet would land, his hangover just kicking in. Let him wake up to that. The Emirates jet touched down at Dubai International at 2 p.m., the desert heat blasting through the gangway as I stepped onto the tarmac with my suitcase and $15. My phone buzzed relentlessly. 120,000 views on my second Instagram video, the one calling out Torin's theft of my Palm Crescent designs. Comments raged, "He's done." Liora's a legend. Celine's sloppy clapback and Vara's PR spin had crashed and burned. And Torin's jet, delayed by mechanical failure, was still an hour out. I had the lead, and I wasn't wasting it. Nix Farouk strode beside me, her blazer crisp despite the flight, scrolling through tips flooding her inbox. "His team's in panic mode," she said, smirking. "That video's viral. Dubai blogs are picking it up. You've got him by the throat." "Good," I replied, hailing a cab with my last crumpled bills. "Next stop, his penthouse." She raised a brow. "You're serious?" "Dead serious," I said, sliding in. Burj Al Arab, top floor, my design, my codes. He's not stepping foot in it. I texted Jasira again. "I'm here, lock it down." Her reply pinged. "Done. He's been screwing me over on pay. I'm all in." The cab wove through Dubai's gleaming chaos, towers piercing the sky, Ferraris purring past, and dropped me at the Burj's gilded entrance. I marched through the lobby, past fountains and staring tourists, my heels echoing on marble I'd picked myself. The elevator shot me to the penthouse level, and I punched in the code, Liora 2020. The doors slid open, revealing 4,000 square feet of my work. Curved glass walls, custom chandeliers, a view of the Persian Gulf I'd framed like art. Torin's trash, golf clubs, Celine's tacky heels, littered my masterpiece. Jasira met me inside, her uniform crisp, eyes gleaming with defiance. "He called an hour ago screaming about keys," she said, tossing me a spare fob. "I told him I quit, then changed the locks." I laughed, sharp and free. "You're a gem. He's landing soon. Let's make this hell for him." My phone buzzed. "Torin, a new number." I answered, speaker on. "Liora, what the fuck?" His voice was raw, jet engines whining behind him. "You're in my penthouse." "My penthouse," I corrected, pacing the glass wall. "I built it. You just signed the checks. Get comfy somewhere else." "You can't do this," he roared. I'll call security, cops, whatever it takes. Go ahead, I said, voice ice. Jasira's with me, and your name's not on the lease anymore. Check the docs on the flight. Try breaking in. I dare you. I hung up, blocked him, and turned to Nix, who'd followed me up. He's unhinged. Perfect, she said, snapping photos of the space. I've got a contact at Gulf News. Your story's hitting tomorrow unless he cracks first. Then the intercom crackled. Lobby security. Ms. Cade, a Ms. Dre's here with 2 others, demanding entry. Send 'em up, I said, grinning at Jasira. Time for a show. The elevator dinged, and Celine burst in, her makeup streaked. Elton and Vera, trailing like scolded dogs. You bitch, she shrieked, lunging at me, nails out. I sidestepped, grabbing her wrist and twisting until she yelped. Get out, I snapped, shoving her back. This isn't your sandbox. Elton stepped forward, hands up. Liora, chill, he's on his way. We can fix this. Fix what? I shot back. Your boy stealing my designs, leaving me with $15. You're all parasites. Out. Vara, ever the PR shark, tried smoothing it. Let's talk, sweetie. Publicity's a mess already. Don't make it worse. I laughed cold. Worse for who? Your gravy train's derailed. Deal with it. I nodded to Jasira, who hit the security button. 2 guards stormed in, grabbing Celine as she flailed, screaming, Torin'll kill you for this. Elton and Vera backed off, muttering. As the guards hauled them out, Nix whistled, filming the chaos on her phone. That's gold. Celine's meltdown's going viral by tonight. The penthouse quieted, the Gulf glittering below. I kicked Celine's heels into a corner and opened my laptop. Our cloud still live. I pulled up more files, emails of Torin, promising me credit for Palm Crescent, then pitching it solo. I forwarded them to Nix. Here's your proof. He's a fraud. She scanned them, eyes lighting up. This'll sink him at the auction tomorrow. He's selling units. I'll leak it to bidders. My phone buzzed again. Torin's jet had landed. His texts flooded in. You're dead. I'll sue. Let me in. I ignored them, but the lobby cam showed him now, barging through, red-faced, dragging a suitcase. He hit the elevator, and I braced myself. The doors slid open, and there he was. Torin Vex, suit rumpled, eyes wild. Liora, he bellowed, charging forward. Jasira blocked him, arms crossed, and I stepped up, unflinching. Out, I said, voice steel. This is mine now. You're trespassing. He lunged, grabbing my arm, but I yanked free, shoving him back. Touch me again, and it's assault. Cameras are rolling. Nix held her phone up, recording, and he froze, chest heaving. You're ruining me, he spat. That video, my investors are bailing. You ruined yourself, I said, stepping closer. $15, Torin. That's what you thought of me. Now watch what I do with it. He swung a fist at the wall, glass rattling, then stormed back to the elevator. This isn't over, he yelled as the doors shut. I exhaled, adrenaline surging. Nix lowered her phone, grinning. He's cracking. Auctions in 12 hours. You ready? Born ready, I said, staring at the Gulf. Torin's empire was shaking, and I'd just claimed its crown. $15 got me this far. Now I'd take it all. The Dubai sun blazed over the Pame Jumeirah at 2 p.m., casting shadows across the sleek ballroom of the Atlantis Hotel. I stood at the back, my heels silent on the carpet, wearing a black dress I'd found in Torin's penthouse closet. Celine's probably, but it fit me better. The auction for his Palm Crescent Towers units hummed with suited investors, their murmurs buzzing over champagne flutes. Torin Vex strutted at the podium, tie loose, pitching my designs as his genius. Nix Farouk lingered near me, her phone ready, whispering, his buyers are here, time to strike. My Instagram video had hit 200K views overnight. Celine's meltdown in the penthouse, leaked by Nix, fueling the fire. Torin's texts had stopped after his failed break-in yesterday, but his eyes flicked nervously across the crowd now, sensing the storm. I'd spent the morning with Jasira, digging through penthouse files, contracts proving I'd sketched Palm Crescent. Emails of Torin cutting me out. Nix had them queued for Gulf News, set to drop the second I moved. The auctioneer banged his gavel. Unit 401, starting at 5 million dirhams. Hands shot up, bids climbing fast. Torin grinned, soaking it in, until I stepped forward, my voice slicing through the room. "Stop," I said loud and clear. Heads turned, gasps rippling. Those towers, my designs, stolen by Torin Vex. He froze, face paling. "Liora, get out," he barked, slamming the podium. "She's lying. Security." I held up my phone, projecting the 2022 sketch file onto the wall screen. My name, my notes, time-stamped. "Here's proof," I said, voice steady. He took my work, pitched it as his, and left me with $15 at JFK. Who's the fraud now? The room erupted. Investors shouting, phones flashing. Nix hit send. Gulf News blasted the story live. Vex exposed, stolen designs. Sink, Palm Crescent. Bids halted. A gray-haired bidder stood, yelling, "I'm out, sue him." Others followed, chairs scraping as they stormed toward the exits. Torin lunged from the stage, grabbing my arm. "You're dead for this," he hissed, but I twisted free, shoving him into the podium. It tipped, crashing with a thud that silenced the chaos for a split second. "Touch me again, and it's jail," I snapped, stepping back as security rushed in. Not for me, but him. They pinned his arms, his curses echoing as they dragged him off. Celine darted from the sidelines, shrieking, "Liora, you ruined us." She swung a clutch at me. I ducked, and it sailed into a waiter, spilling drinks across the floor. Elton Rise and Vera Quinn hovered near the bar, faces ashen. "Torin, shut up," Vara hissed, but he kept thrashing, spitting. "I'll bury you." Elton just stared, muttering, "We're screwed." Nix filmed it all, grinning. "This is live. Twitter's eating him alive." She flashed her screen. Hashtag #VexFraud, trending. 50,000 tweets in minutes. Investors swarmed the auctioneer, demanding refunds. One ripped up a contract, tossing it at Torin's feet as he was hauled out. I grabbed the mic from the fallen podium, the room's chaos hushing. "Palm Crescent's mine," I said, voice ringing. "Anyone want a real designer, not a thief? I'm here." I dropped it, the thud punctuating the silence, and walked out, Nix at my side. Outside, the Gulf air hit me, salty and sharp. My phone buzzed. "Jasira, he's banned from the Burj. Your castle's safe." Then a text from an unknown number. "Liora, please, let's talk." Torin, begging now. I deleted it, no reply. The ballroom doors slammed behind us, Torin's empire crumbling in real time. $15 had bought me this, a wrecking ball through his world. Nix clapped my shoulder. "You just flipped the game. What's next?" I smirked, the horizon glinting gold. "I take it all." The Dubai dusk painted the Persian Gulf in streaks of orange as I stood on the penthouse balcony of the Burj Al Arab, the wind tugging at my hair. Below, the city pulsed, Ferraris glinting, towers stabbing the sky. But up here, it was just me, Jasira, and the wreckage of Torin Vex's empire. Yesterday's auction ambush had gone viral. Vex fraud hit 300,000 tweets, Gulf News racked up 1 million views, and Torin's investors were suing him for millions. My phone buzzed with Nix's update. "He's broke. Creditors froze his accounts. You're untouchable." $15 had turned me into a kingmaker. Jasira leaned on the railing, sipping a coffee she'd brewed in my kitchen. "He's been calling the front desk all day, begging to get in," she said, smirking. "They told him to pound sand." I laughed, the sound raw and free. "Good, let him grovel." My Instagram, now mine alone, had ballooned to 100K followers overnight. Brands sliding into my DMs for collabs. But Torin's texts kept coming. A flood of desperation from new numbers I couldn't block fast enough. "Liora, I'm sorry. We can fix this. Meet me, please." I deleted them all until one hit an hour ago. "Burj Khalifa Pier, 7 p.m. I'll explain everything." Think it's a trap? Jasira asked, eyeing my phone. Maybe, I said, pocketing it. But I'm done running. He wants to talk. I'll finish this. Nix met us at the pier, her blazer swapped for a leather jacket, camera slung around her neck. He's desperate, she warned, scanning the crowd, tourists snapping selfies, boats bobbing in the bay. Could get ugly, stay sharp. The clock hit 7:05, and there he was. Torin, stumbling from a beat-up taxi, his suit wrinkled, hair a mess. No private jet swagger now. Celine trailed him, mascara streaked, clutching a purse like a lifeline. Elton Rice and Vara Quinn flanked them, faces tight, like rats off a sinking ship. Liora, Torin called, voice cracking as he pushed through. You've got to stop, this is killing me. I stepped forward, arms crossed, the pier's lights glinting off the water behind me. You killed us, I said, loud enough for onlookers to turn. $15, Torin, that's what you left me with. Now look at you. He dropped to his knees, actual knees, grabbing at my hands. I messed up, okay? I was stupid. Celine pushed me into it, she gasped, slapping his shoulder, but he shoved her off. Take me back, I'll sign it all over, the towers, the penthouse, everything. Celine lunged, nails out. You liar, you said I was your future. I sidestepped, and she stumbled, splashing into the shallow bay with a scream. Tourists laughed, phones up, filming her flailing in the water. Elton grabbed Torin's arm, hissing, Get up, man, you're humiliating us. Vara tried PR mode, shouting, This is a misunderstanding. Everyone calm down. But the crowd swelled, jeering, Fraud, loser. Vex fraud, live in the flesh. I pulled the penthouse fob from my pocket, dangling it over the water. You want this back? I asked, voice steel. Torin's eyes widened, pleading, but I didn't wait. I flung it, hard, watching it arc and sink into the gulf with a plop. Swim for it, I said, turning away. He roared, lunging after it, splashing into the bay as Celine shrieked, Help me, you idiot. They thrashed, a pathetic tangle of soaked suits and curses, while Elton and Vera backed off, disappearing into the crowd. Nix filmed it all, muttering, This is Emmy-worthy. My phone buzzed. A call from a Sheikh Al-Mansouri, a bidder from the auction. I answered, stepping away from the chaos. Ms. Cade, his voice purred. Your designs impressed me yesterday. I've got a project, 50 million dirhams. Meet tomorrow? Absolutely, I said, pulse racing. Name the place. He hung up, and I stared at the water, Torin still splashing, Celine sobbing on the pier now, a drowned rat in designer rags. Jasira clapped my shoulder. You're unstoppable. Nix lowered her camera, grinning. He's finished. Creditors'll strip him bare by morning. That deal? That's your throne. I nodded, the weight of it sinking in. Torin's pleas faded behind me as I walked off the pier, the city's lights sprawling ahead. $15 had sparked this fire. Now it was an inferno, and I was the one holding the torch. The Dubai sunrise spilled gold across the desert as I stood in the glass-walled office of Sheikh Al-Mansouri's estate. A contract for a 50 million dirham resort project spread before me. 3 days had passed since the pier, since Torin's soaked pleas sank with the penthouse fob into the Persian Gulf, since Celine's wails faded under the crowd's jeers. My phone, now a solo account at 150,000 followers, buzzed with offers, brands, clients, magazines. But this deal was the crown. I signed my name, Liora Cade, in sharp black ink, the pen steady in my hand. Nix Farouk lounged in a chair nearby, her leather jacket slung over the back, scrolling X. Final nail, she said, flashing her screen. Court just ruled. Torin's countersuit for the penthouse, tossed out. He's got nothing left. A grainy photo loaded. Torin outside a Dubai courthouse, unshaven, dodging cameras as creditors swarmed. I smirked, the weight of victory settling in. He's a ghost now. Jasira texted from the Burj. Sold his golf clubs on eBay. Penthouse is officially yours. I'd kept it, Not for nostalgia, but power. My first design, my fortress, cleansed of his stench. The sheikh entered, robes flowing, his handshake firm. Ms. Cade, your vision's bold. Palm Crescent was just the start. We break ground next month. His team filed in, blueprints unrolling. My blueprints, my name in the credits this time. I nodded, the future snapping into focus. Back at the penthouse that night, I poured a glass of wine, Torrens vintage, now mine, and stepped onto the balcony. Nyx had leaked one last scoop that morning. Celine's groveling livestream apology. I was wrong, Liora, forgive me. Buried under 500,000 downvotes. Elton Rice and Vara Quinn had ghosted. Their socials dark, their gravy train derailed. Torrens' last stand, a drunk voicemail I'd ignored, came yesterday. I'm sorry, Lee, I'm done. Deleted. Forgotten. I pulled the wedding band from my pocket, 10 years of tarnished gold, and walked to the railing. No hesitation. I dropped it, watching it plummet, 85 floors to the sand below. $15 had sparked this. Now I stood atop the ashes, a queen in a city I'd remade. The gulf shimmered, steady and vast. I raised my glass, toasting the horizon. Torren was a shadow. I was the skyline. If this story resonated with you, don't just keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, subscribe for more powerful stories, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters, and I read every single one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.